So, hello everyone and welcome to another video. Well, today we're doing a bit of a live show, and the reason why we're here with the amazing authors Abby Ketner and Missy Kalcicki.
Yeah, good job.
Yes! And we're here to celebrate the release of Hunted.
Yay!
So the way it's going to work is Abby and Missy are going to get, this is all going to be spoiler free, so you guys can come back and watch this and get into it like that. Abby and Missy are going to introduce the book Branded first, and then they're going to go on to talking about Hunted a little bit and explaining what we might find in that book without spoiling. So there's a bit of a challenge for you. And then we're going to come back, and please guys ask questions, send us tweets with questions and all of that good stuff. And we're going to be asking Abby and Missy maybe what's their writing style like, because they obviously co-write a book. So maybe that's a bit different to writing a book singularly. What are the future plans for the Branded series? Things like that. So there's just some little examples. So Abby and Missy, would you please introduce yourselves and the wonderful series that is the Sinner series?
Hi guys, I'm Abby. I'm Missy. And that's it.
Would you be able to give us a brief introduction into what Branded is about? What is Branded?
Do you want to go?
Go for it.
Okay. Brandon is about a young girl named Lexi. She's about 17 when it starts. She is immersed in a society that's later the United States, but like way beyond now. And it's ruled by the commander who basically has a messed up judicial system where people who are accused go to a place called the Hole. They don't have trials, they just go to the Hole. And basically the book starts off with Lexi being accused of one of the 7 sins, lust, and she's sent to the Hole. So that's how we begin Branded.
Mm-hmm.
The Hole is bad. Very
The
bad.
Hole is so scary. I couldn't help when reading it, because I remember when I messaged you saying it's so amazing to actually read a dystopian that is dark and realistic. Nothing is sugar-coated. It's just to the point, and it's so awesome, but it's kind of petrifying. So I'm slightly nervous to get into this one because obviously I love Branded so much, and I've heard personally that it's more fast-paced, more thrilling, lots more things happen in this book. But Abby and Missy, if you could give a bit of an introduction to things that might be happening in Hunted, like will there be more action? Will there be more romance?
Yeah, Hunted is action. The way that the series is going, this book basically had to kind of decrease the romance in the sense that it's not that they're not together, but that's not the main focus or as high of a focus as the last time. Because of the situation they're in, it's a very life or death situation, and so the action has to be the main focus in this book. So I know that from some reviews, readers are getting that they're understanding that, you know, obviously in the situation that they're in, it wouldn't be an ideal, realistic area for them. So Kalcicki, I'm using their ship name, you know, they still have their relationship, and they still, you know, are getting to know each other, obviously. So it's definitely still there, but it's different. It's different. It's a very different feel.
Yeah, and you'll see Lexi has evolved a lot as a character in Hunted. You'll see a lot of character development. Hopefully, we hope that transfers to all the people. Some of the people we established in Branded, and then others we brought in for Hunted. Hopefully.
Then you're right. We don't hold back. We are very realistic, and that's what we wanted to do with this series. You know, we wanted it to be as realistic as possible. So yeah, we don't hold back on things.
And that's what makes this series so fun, actually, and so different. Is oh my god, just gonna move that deodorant out of the way because that's not supposed to be there. So what's so awesome about this series is it's definitely something that is realistic, and it kind of makes you think this could happen. It's kind of like scary. Okay, so being the book co-written, how do you go about doing it? Does one of you write a chapter each, and do you send it to each other, or how do you go about doing that?
It depends on the scene and what we're writing. There's certain scenes that we both kind of feel more comfortable writing than others. There'll be times like Abby will come up with a scene and she'll know that I might be better at writing it, or I'll think of something and I'll know that she's better at writing it. We just have our strengths and our weaknesses, and through writing together, we kind of know what those are now.
I can be 100% honest when I say all of the action is that girl right there. Yeah, she's the action queen. So if she if she writes an action chapter, we basically do it like we would be editing that. We can track all of our changes, and so we can see what we've added and read. So she'll write the chapter out, and then she'll send it to me, and then I go through and I work with the voices of the characters, the dialogue. That tends to be more of my strength, and then the emotional aspects of it. Emotional scenes I connect more to, and I tried to write action once, and that was a disaster. So I stay clear of that. But
yeah. In all reality, it's like whatever we write, we both go through.
Yeah.
So it's very integrated.
Every chapter has both of us in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun.
I love it. I think that's awesome. Absolutely. Do you think it helps, co-writing a book, do you think it helps to make the process quicker and to make the books thicker? Because obviously you're two people kind of, rather than just one author. So what's your view on that?
I wouldn't always say it makes it quicker, because we do have young children and there is two of us. So I would say sometimes in different ways that it's more time consuming, because we are sending files back and forth constantly to go over.
Yeah.
We are constantly revising between two people, and then when you add an editor in, then you have three. So sometimes it might be more time consuming, but it's nice because we are always bouncing things off of each other, and that makes it
like if we get stuck,
keeps me fresh.
If I get stuck, I go to her. She gets stuck, and vice versa. And it's nice to be able to
have that.
We're always I don't know. We've never had an argument about how the story should go. Like never. It's almost like we're on the same page. We feel it. She might feel it a different way, and I might feel it one way, but then we talk about it and we're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, we've never had it out.
And we're very go with the flow of the story. If we had something in mind and then we start writing and then we realize, the story is taking us a little bit of a different direction, then it's funny because most of the time we always feel the same way. We're like, okay, the text is taking us this way. Let's do it,
Right. Yeah, because we just had a question from Jessica Pike over on Twitter, and she said, how do you guys deal with different ideas for your book? So will one of you say, right, I really want this scene to be between, let's throw in a extra love interest. Do you ever have those conflicting ideas, or do you kind of just feel like you're on the same page and you know what you're doing?
Yeah,
we don't, because even before, the whole reason Branded even came up was simply because it was for fun, and we wanted to write a book that didn't have a love triangle. That didn't have those common things that were, being used, that we wanted to be more realistic and not have this female character that is born and ready to go, ready to kill, ready to, take on the world. And we wanted an insecure, main character that was more realistic and, as you grow with her. So, I don't know. I just think it's because, we've read so many books and we always agreed on things that we would do differently, always seem to be the same thing. I think we like the challenge of having, different kinds of tension and things like that. So,
Excellent.
we had conflicts on story.
Cool.
So
I'm taking questions from Twitter and from YouTube. So if you guys want to leave a question directed at Abby and Missy, and that we will read them and answer them. I've got this one question from Isabel on Twitter as well, from Isabel_Keeper. Now this isn't about Branded or Hunted, but it's a nice little break. And it's, what is the biggest book you have ever read?
I'm going to go with maybe Game of Thrones or any of Tolkien's books. Yeah, those usually tend to be pretty big. I also read one on the Russian dynasty, or not dynasty, on the Romanovs that was really big. I mean, that big. Yeah, big book. That's about it.
Different time zones. Back in the day, I'd probably say Breaking Dawn, but that was not my favorite book. And now probably Outlander.
Oh yeah, those are
Yeah.
I can't wait to read it. I think I'm reading it next month, so
It's
jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, living for Jamie.
Yeah, those books are they're hard for me, because I stick to young adult because of having ADD and things like that. So, yay! I tend to stick to more towards young adult, but I don't know. I love her storytelling, and that romance is just
fabulous.
Oh
yeah, so good. So we've got another question from Nora O'Neill over on YouTube, and she says, "Is one of you more emotionally connected to your characters than the other?" It's a difficult one.
Yeah, that is a tough one. Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're both connected, but I think it's different for both of us for characters. You know what I mean? Like,
you seem to connect more with guys, than I can.
Although I connected with Alyssa because she reminded me of someone I used to know. So I don't know. It's just different. I think it's different for both of us.
We just love them the same, because we've created them basically. So
yeah. So a question I want to ask as well is, have you started writing Liberated yet?
It's funny you asked that because with Hunted, we literally had the book done, like done. Okay. And then
22 chapters in.
Face plant.
We started over.
We made it start over. So with Liberated, we're trying to really focus on what we want and get it done correctly this time. We were just actually talking about it before we got on here, and it's going to be a very complex ending, and it's going to be a complex book, but we know where we're going with it. We've always known where we're going with it. It's just a matter of...
We have a rough outline. Yeah.
But that's how we are. I mean, we rough outline, but we just go and we write. It's like people don't always understand. We let the characters drive the story, but you get so intertwined in Lexi's head and in her life. And because Lexi is so much like Missy and myself, it's kind of like, okay, what would I do in this situation? Or, what would be going on? So, we're not the kind that sits down and writes like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, what's going to happen. It's more or less, okay, this is going to be somewhat of the ending kind of idea, and we'll go from there. So,
yeah. So, okay, another question is, so the response, I've known you two lovely ladies since before you were published with Month 9 Books, and I remember how excited you were, when Branded came out again under Month 9. How have you been feeling today with the release of Hunted, your second book, your second baby? How are you feeling? Can you describe how you've been feeling today?
Relieved. Yeah. I mean, excited, number one, but relieved because we had written 4 or 5 manuscripts for Hunted. We went all different directions before we settled on the one that we finally released today. And I think we both feel happy and pleased with the direction that we finally chose to go. I mean, today's been great.
Yeah. We're content with the story, and we love the story. We were always kind of like, are we going to love this book?
Yeah.
Because a sequel is so hard to write. And I will say that again. A sequel, so hard.
And it was only our second book, so we had a learning curve. But thankfully, Georgia McBride at Month 9 really worked with us and really pushed us, and it was humbling at times, but it was also incredibly
grueling.
It was, but it was also
so worth
we
it.
really grew. Like we really grew a lot under her. I feel like this book, and hopefully our characters show that. So I'm happy.
Well, how have you been? How's the response been to seeing, like pictures of it, people sending you pictures of it in Kindle and physical books? What's that feeling like, seeing something that you've spent so much grueling time on as an actual physical thing that people are now, getting? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's shocking and incredible, but I still have a hard time saying like I'm an author. It's just weird, I don't know. It's just weird, but Yeah, and the reviews that have been left, you know, when we read through them, it's like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, like they understand, because we were so worried about the romance aspect of it, you know, not being as more, it's downplayed, but it's just not in there as much as Branded, because it's the forbidden romance and the whole 9 yards. But the way that Hunted has to be written and how it goes, and how the story's told, it's there, but it can't be the way that it was in Branded. So we were worried about, you know, the romance lovers kind of being like, you know, angry at us. But after reading some of the reviews, some of the reviewers understood why, you know, because of the because of where they are, because of what they have to go through. It's not really the most romantic scenery, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know, this lead us quite nice. We've had a couple of questions, actually, the same ones, and I'm going to read Erin Price's out, but we've had a very similar one as well. And it's basically saying, what gave you the idea for Branded, and how did you make sure Hunted was good? So, like, so basically, how did you, you know, what is the story behind you saying, let's write a book? Like, what's the story behind that?
Yeah. Thanks. Microphone. Boop, boop, boop. No. We used to, after we had kids, we would read books, and then we would meet up once a month and kind of talk over the books, and, you know, kind of like you guys do, review books and talk about them, but we would do it between us. And there was always something, like we had just read The Hunger Games and we're in love with that genre. So it was
Twilight.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it was, so, but there was always something in the books that we have read that we were like, we would have done that differently, or this should have been done differently, or, you know, not putting them down, but just kind of like, you know, if we wrote a book,
discussing it, just reviewing it amongst ourselves. So,
and joking around, I said to Missy, the only way we would be happy with a book that we wrote is if we wrote it ourselves. And not even thinking about it, is probably maybe like 2 months that I just was doing my thing, and I just let my mind roll. And I always listen to music when I run, and then, you know, it wasn't like, bam, there it is. It was just like things were coming into a pot, you know, like I was thinking of the Scarlet Letter and how she was publicly humiliated by having the A, you know, cross. And then I was thinking, okay, how could somebody be publicly humiliated? And then for some reason the 7 Deadly Sins came into the picture, and then I was thinking of the branding, and I Googled, and there's actually colors of the sins. And then I thought of the worst case scenario, putting these people in somewhere, and I thought a jail. But it would have to be a humongous jail with absolutely no bars, no, you know, anything. They're living amongst each other. So you have the criminals that are true criminals, but then you have the innocent people that are living amongst each other too. And so that's kind of where the idea started.
Love it. I love it.
Yes.
Send me a file. We named it Sin. Yeah. That was what it was originally named.
Sin.
And then we just started writing.
I love it. So somebody on Twitter called Talina, maybe, I can't pronounce things at all ever. Just ask Missy, because I've pronounced Missy's last name wrong for the past year. I'm trying, I'm practicing. And her question is, do you guys get a say in your covers, or is it the publisher's idea?
We get a say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you kind of came up with this cover before it was published, didn't you?
No.
No,
we didn't. I mean, not that
we weighed in on it. On what we wanted.
Yeah, it came back and we were kind of like, maybe this or maybe that. But yeah, I mean, we've been blessed, and we talk about it all the time, that Month 9 is definitely the right publisher for us. Not only because Georgia is an amazing publisher, and, you know, our publicist Jamie, we have, you know, personal relationships with them, and they really include us, and they include our agent too.
It's awesome.
You know, so when we're talking about covers, it's not just what they want, it's what we want, it's what they think fits, but our ideas go back and forth. And so we really work as a team, which I think is absolutely amazing, because most of the time, you know, authors don't have any say. So it's nice to have that. Yeah. And, you know, I think we're definitely where we should be. You know, we're happy, and yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Liberated.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to see the response. I really am. And I'm excited to read it too. I'm planning on reading it in the month of May. So it's going to be perfect because I think I'm trying to think back to when I read Branded. Possibly Branded may have been April time last year. But yeah. So another question I'd like to ask is future ideas. You know, if you could write a book in the future about, you know, co-written or maybe singular, you know, have you two got I hold on, I see a cheeky facial thing. So would you know, in the future, I'm guessing now you're authors, you're going to want to carry on writing, I suppose. So, you know, do you always think about possible ideas for future novels?
All the time.
Oh yeah,
We have a whole bunch of
yeah, you do.
I love it. And will they be co-written? Will they be co-written?
Oh yeah, I won't write by myself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're happy together. Seriously.
We're like married authors.
Yeah.
No, I love it. So we've just got over 5 minutes left of the live show. We wanted to keep it nice and short and sweet. So I've got some more questions here. And one question is, what is the latest book you guys read?
The latest book we wrote?
No,
Yeah, read.
It's All the Bright Places.
Yeah, we both,
and I bawled my eyes out.
we both read that.
I cried my sleep last night.
I did I hosted a like a panel thing in Waterstones in London, and with Jennifer Niven, and honestly, she's such a sweet person. She generally is amazing.
Yeah,
and that's where I think we are like passionate about tough subjects, and we're passionate about realistic stuff going on. So that kind of thing we like. I mean, yeah, it's dark.
It's dark, but life is dark.
Yeah. So we're not going to be the bright, fluffy authors. You know, we like to write stuff that's going to wake people up or understand, or you know, hopefully make changes in their lives or realize what life's really about. So yeah, we kind of get drawn to those kind of books. But
yeah, that was a good read.
That was a really good book.
That was probably one of the first books in a while that I really felt
connected to. Because you know, there's so many people with depression, and there's so many people with bipolar that do not, you know, get help. And you know, because there's a lot. I mean, I can talk about hours about mental health, but there's, you know, I don't know how it is in the UK, but in the United States, it's
rampant.
It's just rampant, but it's not taken care of, you know, and it's not taken seriously. And, you know, this is the kind of thing that happens. So I'm glad she wrote that book, and I hope people, you know, I hope it'll make a difference, because, you know, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are so depressed. So, but yeah, I loved her book.
Yeah, amazing. So if you two can say one last thing to everybody watching, and everybody who's read Branded or will read Branded and who will read Hunted, like what's the one thing you want to say to your readers?
Thank you.
Yes. Without you,
the best fans.
Yes.
We've made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You guys are the best.
Without you, we would be nothing. And you know, if anything, we just hope, you know, we can help make difference in their lives. And
we hope you love Hunted. And we thank you for your support.
You guys rock.
Yeah. And I'm so proud. Honestly, I'm so proud of you both. Like, it's been such an incredible thing to watch happen, you know, for the past year and a couple of months, and to be a part of the journey with you, and to watch you grow and flourish, and the amazing things that are going to be happening during the next, you know, coming years. I'm so deeply excited for you, and I'm going to be here every step of the way for those next few years. So, and more.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think me and Abby talk maybe every day, like over the past year and a bit. So Missy, we need to get each other's numbers. Okay, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining the live show, and thank you, Abby and Missy, for joining and coming and talking to us and answering some questions. And yeah, it's going to be a busy blog tour week for you guys, so definitely you guys watching, go and check out Branded and Hunted and order and check it out on Goodreads and mark it as read and mark it as you want to read, because I highly recommend it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you really soon.
All right.
Bye.